which ended up in a tie. We went the exact same time down to the 100th of a second. Having only one trophy, the NCAA told me that I would go home empty-handed and this trophy would go to Thomas.
This stuff is so unbelievable. It makes me so disgusted. So who is this girl? This girl is Riley Gaines, top swimmer. She swam at Penn. She swam against a man. Now, she was a top swimmer. She was awesome. She was really, really great, but she was beaten by Leah Thomas, quote unquote, a man. And she's breaking her silence, and she's going across the country, and she is testifying to protect women. Could we all get a brain? Okay, let's look at Riley Gaines.
Hi, my name is Riley Gaines. I'm a recent graduate from the University of Kentucky, where I was on the women's swim team. I proudly finished my career as a 12-time NCAA All-American, a 5-time SEC champion. I am one of the fastest 200 butterflyers of all time. But on March 17th of last year, my teammates and I and other female swimmers from universities around the country were forced to compete against a biological male named Leah Thomas. Thomas was allowed to compete in the women's division after competing as a member of the University of Pennsylvania's men's swim team for 3 years. We watched on the side of the pool as Thomas won a national title in the 500-yard freestyle, beating out the most impressive and accomplished female athletes in the country, including Olympians and American record holders. Whereas just the year before, Thomas at best was ranking in the 400s in the men's category.
Ranking in the 400s in the men's category. And then he beats an Olympian. And I believe that Olympian got second place in the Olympics. So you're talking the best of the best of the best of all women at that time. Imagine how demoralized you would be getting into a pool knowing that you're going to lose even though you are the best.
The next day, Thomas and I raced in the 200 freestyle, which ended up in a tie. We went the exact same time down to the 100th of a second. Having only one trophy, the NCAA told me that I would go home empty-handed and this trophy would go to Thomas. And when I questioned this, the NCAA told me that Thomas had to hold it for photo purposes. I was shocked. I felt betrayed and belittled, reduced to a photo op. But my feelings didn't matter. What mattered to the NCAA were the feelings of a biological male.
I want you to imagine what that must have felt like. She knew when she got in that pool, there was no way that she was going to be able to win. And kudos for her that she even tied. I mean, that's almost impossible. And throughout this video, I'm going to show all-time rankings between men and women, and you're going to see the women aren't even in the top 1,000 of men. There is no way that women can compete against men. And if you believe that they can, if you believe that there is no difference, no biological differences between men and women, they're not stronger, they're not faster, well, you know what? I got a bridge I'd love to sell you. Yes, you're going to love it. Yes, it's a really great bridge. I'll sell it to you really cheap.
In 1972, Congress enacted Title IX to end unjust sex discrimination in all aspects of education, including college athletics. But by allowing Thomas to displace female athletes in the pool and on the podium, the NCAA intentionally and explicitly discriminated on the basis of sex. Although the NCAA claimed it acted in the name of inclusion, its policies in fact excluded female athletes.
This is the funniest part. Title IX. Title IX. I am a Title IX baby. Yes, I am. If you didn't know, underneath all this fur, I am a woman and I am a Title IX baby. So what was Title IX? Well, Title IX was a law that was passed in the 1970s, which said you had to have equal number of men in women's sports. So if you had 10 different sports teams for men at a school, you had to have 10 women's teams. So what did this mean for women? This means that I was the first generation who had the opportunity to play sports because the teams were available. And why did they have to do this? This is super weird. Why? Well, nobody wants to watch women's sports. It's super boring. I'm sorry, I'm a woman and it's super boring. But this is the hilarious thing. Title IX is now being used against women. Because what they're doing, they're changing women into gender. So they're saying you can't discriminate against someone's gender when the purpose of Title IX was to offer women the opportunity to play sports. You probably, if you watched any of my other videos, you know I love sports. I played them 24/7. And you get a lot of things from playing sports. You learn how to lose. You learn how to win. You learn teamwork. You learn how to take orders. You learn lots of stuff. If this continues, women's sports will die. Because why do you want to jump into a pool if you know you're going to lose?
But that is not all. In addition to being forced to give up our awards, our titles, not opportunities. The NCAA forced female swimmers to share a locker room with Thomas, a 6'4", 22-year-old male who was fully intact with male genitalia. Let me be clear. We were not forewarned. We were not asked for our consent, and we did not give our consent. If nothing else, I hope you can truly see how this is a violation of our privacy and how some of us have felt uncomfortable, awkward, embarrassed, and even traumatized by this experience. I know I don't speak for everyone. It's impossible to speak for everyone, but I can attest to the tears that were shed on that pool deck by these poor 9th and 17th place finishers who missed out on being named an All-American by one place. And I can attest to the extreme discomfort in the locker room when you turn around and there's a male watching you undress while exposing himself.
How is this okay? What? Sometimes I think that I just woke up in an alternate universe. What happened to Me Too? You remember Me Too? Where believe all women and, you say something wrong and you can get fired. You tell a dirty joke and you can get fired. What happened to Me Too? No more Me Too. No. Now a man can put on a dress, walk into a locker room, a women's locker room, and expose themselves to women. That's okay. That's totally fine. Totally fine. What? I mean, at what point do we have to say no? Could the adults walk into the room? If you have a penis, you cannot go into a woman's locker room. I don't even know what to say. Go on the internet and look for some of these teammates. A lot of them came out anonymously. They blanked out their faces. They were, in that dark thing where they disguised their voice and everything like that. And listen to what these girls went through. And ask yourself if this is okay. Please comment below. Is this okay? But this is not it. Let's see Leah's side of the story. Because, we can't just be one-sided. Leah, tell us how you feel.
It's been incredibly rewarding and meaningful to be able to be authentic and to be myself and be out and proud as a trans woman.
Transgender person to ever win an NCAA Division I championship.
I'm very humbled and honored to hold that title, and I can only hope that I'm able to give other trans people the inspiration and motivation I was given.
What do you think is the biggest misconception people have about you, specifically?
The biggest misconception, I think, is the reason why I transitioned, where people will say, oh, she just transitioned, so she would have an advantage, so she could win. I transitioned to be happy.
Me. I. Yeah, Leah? Do you feel your authentic self? Oh, you're so happy that you're in your authentic self. Fine. Be your authentic self. I don't care. You want to be trans? Fine. You want to wear a dress? Fine. I don't care. I don't care. You're an adult. What you don't get to do is jump in a pool and beat a bunch of girls. We all make choices in our life. If you are a man and you choose to be a woman or call yourself a woman or whatever, that's fine. But that choice precludes you participating in women's sports. Life isn't fair. It's not fair. I wanted a lot of things in my life that I didn't get, and I don't cry that it's not fair. If you choose to be trans, then you can't compete. In your deepest, darkest secret, deep, deep, deep in those places you don't want to tell, you know you have an advantage. So no. Yes, go be trans, but no, you cannot compete in women's sports. But that's not it. That's not all of it, guys. She won an award. Leah won an award, and it was a women's award. Let's see.
We know Leah Thomas, she no longer will be able to go to the Olympics because they finally have seen some wisdom there that biological male bodies that identify as female can't compete. But she's been nominated for an NCAA Woman of the Year. And I say she because, I'm very careful with my pronouns because I don't want any more legal letters. But this is just remarkable. The patriarchy wins again and again. It seems like biological male bodies are far better at being women than women are, because we've seen this a number of times now where trans women win Women of the Year awards. Yes. Instead of women who've been women their entire lives and have achieved all sorts of great things, but that seems to not be interesting anymore. As Ricky Gervais said, those old-fashioned women with their wombs. No, we want women who've got
Can you do
penises.
the Gervais accent?
I couldn't have said it better myself. Can we end the craziness? Okay, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this around. We need to get it out. Thanks so much.